Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we are bringing you guys week number 11 of the 2020 NFL season spread picks, as well as the over-unders and stuff like that. We're going to be giving you guys a lock as well at the end of the video. But before we get into it, I'd like to ask that if at any point inside of this video, if you guys end up enjoying this content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I assume since you guys are gambling, you also play fantasy football. So if you want some fantasy content, you can check out my channel as well down below. I'd really appreciate that. So, Lucas, do you have anything to say before we get into this video?
I mean, we're crushing again, kind of another mediocre week, but we're still building upon the positive ROI, the return above 52%. Nick is climbing back up to get over that throughout, I don't know what, 11 more weeks if we do the playoffs and stuff. But a lot of big stuff coming. Thanksgiving next week, so we'll have probably two different shows or maybe one big show or something. And a lot of other sports starting up. So we got a lot coming. Yeah, and I mean, in the comments too, I know it's all fantasy questions, but if there's any like betting questions or I don't know, any thoughts, put them down below too.
Yeah, people ask a lot of betting questions typically during the live stream. So if you guys watch this video, leave them down below and we'll talk to you down there. So thank you guys again for joining us today. So actually, before we get into it, our actual picks, I just want to tell you guys, I have taken the Dolphins to make the playoffs 7,000 times. Now it is at minus 143. It is going to significantly get higher. It's going to go to like minus 200 after we body the Broncos this week. So with that said, make sure you take it now before it's a little too late. But then again, I am a Dolphins fan, so I will be talking because I like the Dolphins, but also because I genuinely think they're going to make the playoffs at 6-3. Tua is undefeated. So let's get into it. Again, how we do this, we give one spread, or we give 5 picks, and our lock is at the end of the video. So if you want the big lock, it's at the end of the video. We are going up against Snacks and Animal of BDGE and of Bagels and Locks. We've absolutely murdered them. We are up 6 games ahead of them because our locks we're both 7-3 at this point. They're not looking as hot as us, because we're just super sharp. So let's get into it. So my second most confident pick, again, number 1 is at the end of the video, is the Packers versus the Colts. I've taken the Packers +2. Now, to me, this seems like it should be more of a pick 'em. The Colts defense sure is pretty good. The Packers defense isn't amazing, but what I have seen of the Indianapolis Colts is that they're not very good on the passing part of the game. They're really only good at scoring because of running, and they're not even running with their best running back in Jonathan Taylor. It's just Naheem Hines and Jordan Wilkins magically moseying their way into the end zone. So I actually think the Packers' high tempo offense that is going to be able to score a decent amount of points, especially if Allen Lazard returns. I expect this offense to really be slinging the rock a lot in this game. And while the Colts defense is all right, I think Aaron Rodgers will be able to overcome it. And Green Bay +2 to me seems like the pick. Obviously, you could also just take them money line to return more on your investment, but I took them +2 for the show. And I just don't like Phillip Rivers at all. I feel like this is a key game where Phillip Rivers just makes that one mistake that completely fucks them over. But again, last week, I thought they were going to get absolutely trounced by the Tennessee Titans, and that was completely wrong. That wasn't a pick for the show, but, that's just how I feel about the game. Lucas feels a different way because he picked the other team. So what do you think about this game?
Yeah, this is my number 3 pick is the Colts -2, and I think it reminds me of Tampa Bay 3-4 weeks ago, the Green Bay Tampa Bay game where it started out as Green Bay was favored by like 2.5 or 1.5 or something. And I took that because I'm like, okay, I don't understand that. This was off Tampa Bay's loss on the Bears, and it was kind of like just a weird, because they played on Thursday, so they had a weird like 10-day gap between this game and the week of the Packers and the Bucks. And really, what you saw in that game was when Rodgers was faced with a physical defense, he couldn't handle the pressure, right? So they're going against the Colts, who probably has been the most physical defense, probably the best defense in the league this year, surprisingly. So I'm just going to take the 2 points here, and I think on the Colts offensive side, yeah, I think if Alexander plays for the Packers, it pretty much relies on the Colts running game. But I think even if Hines is running, we saw that last week, that it doesn't matter who the defense is. I know the Titans defense is as good as the Packers, but still, I think they'll be able to run the ball down the throat of the Packers. I mean, James Robinson had 23 carries last week. The Packers want you to run on them, and that's what the Colts like to do. So I think it just kind of lines up good for the Colts here. But I do see the side of the Packers pick. I'm just going to go off what we've seen from the Packers against tough defenses this year.
All right, that makes sense. I can see that happening as well. It's a very close game, in my opinion. Like I said before, I even got into, I thought it would be a pick 'em. So I'll just go with the Packers, the team I think is actually just a better team. So who is your second most confident pick here?
Yeah, my second confident is the Jets Chargers over 46.5. I don't even want to say it's a low number because honestly, it could be a high number for the Jets. But the Jets' offense has been sort of clicking lately. They've been actually moving the ball downfield. It's just a matter of if they can get field goals or touchdowns versus field goals. 2 weeks ago against the Chiefs, they got field goals, and then last week they got touchdowns against the Patriots. Or 2 weeks ago, I don't know if they had a bye last week. Yeah, last week. No, 2 weeks ago. Sorry, because they had a bye. So I think that might be why this line is a little low. Because I mean, they put up 27 points a couple weeks ago against the Patriots. The Chargers are going to score points. They're obviously going to score points against this Jets defense. So I just kind of like the over 46.5. I mean, the Chargers are favored by 8.5. So you're implying that the Jets score, I don't know, if you're getting the Chargers at 30 points, like 30-16, something around those lines, 30-17. So I think that's definitely doable for this game.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. The Jets, I think Joe Flacco will somehow just throw 4 touchdowns in this game or something stupid because that's how he looked against the Patriots. He just absolutely lit them up. If this was Sam Darnold, it would probably be in a higher number, I think, because Sam Darnold, perception wise, much better than Joe Flacco. Obviously, he is much better than Joe Flacco, but it didn't seem to matter 2 weeks ago against the Patriots because he just absolutely lit them up. The Chargers defense fucking sucks ass, kind of like you said. The Dolphins easily beat them, and I think the Jets. I don't know who's going to win this game. I hope the Jets win so they somehow don't get Trevor Lawrence. That would make my day. But I think the Chargers are going to score 1,000,000 points as well. So this over 46.5 just seems like a like light work, to be honest with you. I don't even have much to say about it because it just seems obvious in my head. That's what I didn't take it though because you already took it because you wrote your picks in first.
Yeah.
So my third most confident pick here is the Steelers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I have a feeling this game is going to be a lower scoring type of a game, so I'm going to take the under 46.5. Now, typically, I hate taking the under, but there's a lot of games this week that I just feel like are not going to be very high scoring. Steelers versus Jaguars is one of those. I just don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to score very many points, and I think if they're up or if the Jaguars are down by 1,000,000, the Steelers will just run the ball 7,000,000 times with James Conner. Even if Connor hasn't looked all that productive thus far this season, I think that he will be the piece of this game that is used heavily. I think all for fantasy football, all the wide receivers will be fine for the Steelers because they'll still get the ball thrown to them. I just don't expect the Steelers to put up 1,000,000 points, and I highly doubt the Jaguars are going to be able to do very much up against. You talked about how the Colts were the best defense in the NFL. I think the Steelers are the best defense in the NFL, but that's like up for debate. They're both top 3 teams, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The Steelers, very, very good defense. And I think that the Jaguars offense just looks straight up limp dick without Gardner Minshew. So I think the Steelers should be able to easily hold them to very low scoring. And then you just got to hope the Steelers don't accidentally score like 5 touchdowns doing something crazy and the over smashes. So what do you think about the under 46.5 Steelers at Jaguars?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Jaguars just want to run the ball no matter what the score is. They're not really trying to score as bad as that sounds. They got a punt return for a touchdown last week to make their score a little inflated. So yeah, I think this is a good one here. Kind of reminds me of last week's Steelers Bengals. I think I was on the over, or I think we mentioned it, and obviously the under. I think by like 1 point the under missed, but still though, like the Jaguars' offense is nowhere near the Bengals. So I think this is a good pick here because the Steelers don't look to run the score up on anybody. They're just trying to win the game. So yeah, I think that's a good pick. And it might even go up too. People might kind of see the Jaguars are going to be trailing. They might start just throwing the ball side. So it could shoot up to like 47.5 too.
And we saw when they played up against the Cowboys, the Steelers, that is, they kind of just played down to their opponents. So, like, if the Jaguars aren't going to score 7,000,000 points, they probably won't. But again, last week, the Steelers really did step on the Bengals' throat. So that kind of is the opposite to what I just said. So, who is your third most confident pick? Just kidding. You already said it. So, fourth
Yep.
most confident pick.
Yeah, my fourth most confident is the Falcons +5 against the Saints. I think I'm just taking the points. I don't really have a clear side on like why necessarily because I mean we haven't seen Winston play with the Saints, but Teddy B went 5-0 last year with him, and I'm pretty sure they actually covered in those games without Breeze, every single one if I remember right. But I think it's just the Falcons' offense has been playing pretty good. They've kind of been hitting. Not 100% sure if Ridley comes back, but if he does, it only boosts this game for the Falcons. So I think it's just five's just a lot of points in the dome in a high scoring game. Just gonna assume Winston does what Winston does and throws a couple picks here and there and just take the variant swing on the +5 here.
All right, that makes sense. I like the other side, but I wouldn't take it. I think this is a game where we either see if Jameis's LASIK surgery worked or if it didn't. If Jameis is clearly reading the defense, then he should easily be able to beat the Falcons by 7 million points. If Jameis plays like Jameis, then they're going to end up losing this game by 1 million. So I just feel like it's more of a coin flip to me who would end up even winning this game straight up. But with the spread being +5 or -5, I just wouldn't take it. But Lucas obviously seems like he's much better at reading these games than I am. So I'll accept Lucas's pick at +5. So go ahead and take the Falcons, guys. So my next pick is the Eagles versus the Browns under 47. This is going to be a game where the ball is ran 7,000 times by each team. The Browns had over 200 combined rushing yards, and Nick Chubb walked out of the end zone, or not out of the end zone, was going to walk into the end zone and then said skirt and just juked out of bounds to completely fuck everyone over who bet on the Browns last week, which is actually one of the worst beats I've ever seen because the guy was literally going to walk into the end zone. And he said, take the team over fantasy, take the team over the bets, which is just disgusting. Nick Chubb should be killed for an action like that. But with that said, under 47 to me is the bet in this game. The Eagles last week cucked Miles Sanders multiple times. Miles Sanders should have had 2 touchdowns in that game. I think this one is just going to be a run heavy game, which typically goes under, unless, of course, the Eagles defense just absolutely breaks in half and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are able to run for like 4 combined touchdowns, which is obviously entirely possible. I don't think the Browns are going to look to throw the ball all that much. Their wide receiver, without Odell Beckham, their wide receiver core just looks like a smorgasbord of random guys that they found off the street. It doesn't look all that good, the passing attack. The Eagles' passing attack is all right, but Carson Wentz looks very, very bad. So that's an issue for them. So I think under 47.5 is going to be cutting it close, but I'll take it here in this matchup. I just think that the clock's going to keep on dwindling down with a lot of running. So what do you think in this one? The Eagles versus Browns under 47.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't even think the offenses, unless they hit some big runs, like have the capability to score that many points, I guess is the way to say it. I mean, I think it's supposed to rain again in Cleveland. It's not supposed to be the weather we've had the last 2 Cleveland home games where the total was like 50 and then it went down to like 46 within like one night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Browns last week showed the running's going to work. They're the Browns again, so they're just going to keep running. The Eagles are just going to keep running because unless they're going to start throwing the ball to Rager more, which they should, they're just going to keep running the ball. So yeah, I think that's a good pick. I don't know if that one would go up. So I'd say try and get it at 47 before it goes to 46.5. But yeah, I think that's a good pick for sure.
All right. Who is your next pick here?
Yeah, my last one here is I am taking the Jets on the spread here. 8.5. Some places have 9. Is way too much for the Chargers to cover. The Chargers are 2-7, 2-6. I don't know what week we're in. We're week 11, so they're 2-7. That's too many points for the Chargers to cover. It honestly might even go in favor more of the Chargers. Like, I don't even care how good their offense can play because we saw the Jets against the Patriots defense, who has not been good this year, cover the spread, hang in the game, almost win the game. They almost covered the spread against the Chiefs, had a last-second touchdown for the Chiefs. So I think they're just going to keep trying to progress through this offense. Perriman's back, Mims is back. Like, their offense is finally kind of hitting in some aspects. So yeah, I think 8.5 is way too many points. I could easily see this being a money line pick for the Jets for sure too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets somehow won this game. The Chargers defense is unbelievably bad. Herbert will make some stupid decision at the end of this game to lose them the game. I don't know. I just can't be betting on the Chargers. I just don't feel confident enough in the defense to be able to do anything. And the Jets offense actually did look all right, like you said. They actually looked pretty good with Joe Flacco 2 weeks ago up against the Patriots. They're coming off of a bye. This is not even a trap game for the Chargers because any game against the Jets is not a trap game. It's an easy game, but they're going to end up losing. I like the Jets plus 8.5. What's the money line at? Plus 7,000 or something? Plus 400?
We can find out. That's got to be
plus 400.
400 or 500, I would say here. Let's see.
Yeah, plus 335.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be, I don't know. Just got a weird feeling.
All right, I'm feeling dangerous. I'll agree with you. I don't trust the Chargers at all. So my final pick and then my lock, they're in the exact same game. The Dolphins versus the Broncos. I got the Dolphins versus the Broncos as my 5th most confident pick under 45. I don't think this game is going to be high scoring at all. Drew Lock looked absolutely atrocious last week. I'm not even sure if we see Drew Lock play in this game. It may be Brett Rippon because Lock got hurt, but Lock's apparently not completely dead, so he should be able to suit up. But you never know. So I'm going to go ahead and take the under in this one. The Dolphins offense will have to do absolutely nothing in this matchup. The defense is forced to turnover in the last 15 games, which is just a crazy number in my opinion. 15 games in a row with a forced turnover. Drew Lock looks like he's an interception machine. The Dolphins defense looks like one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL that is very easily going to be able to catch interceptions if they are thrown anywhere near these corners. So I think the Dolphins absolutely trounce the Broncos, but I don't think they're going to even score a million points because they won't have to. They'll just run the ball with Salvin Ahmed 7 million times, and then the game will end. So my lock is Dolphins -3.5. It was -2.5, which is what I took them at. -3.5 seems a little scary because I feel like the Dolphins aren't gonna lay the murder game down on them. I feel like it's gonna be like a closer game, like 7 points. But at the end of the day, 7 covers the -3.5. So I'll take the Dolphins over your Broncos. -3.5. Sorry, there's something fucking stuck in my nose and I need to sneeze. But what do you have to say about your Broncos versus the Dolphins?
I mean, Drew Lock sucks. Pat Shermer can't get the ball to Jerry Jeudy enough times in a game, or Hamler. I don't know. I mean, I think that the Dolphins, they just like to control the game. They're a defensive first team, and I think that bodes well for the under here. If Rippon plays, obviously that helps the under. It helps the Dolphins side. It's just not looking the greatest. I mean, the way the Broncos move the ball is through Jeudy, and if he's going against Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, like I don't know how much you can count on the ball getting moved. So yeah, I think the under here is good. If you can get over, or I was gonna say, if you can get over under 21.5 first half, that's also solid too. Because I think the Dolphins like just to slow the game down, and manage the time of possession, and the Broncos kind of do too. Like they don't really have big plays or much at all this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Broncos can move the ball pretty easily with Philip Lindsay, but they just choose not to give him the ball. So
yeah, I don't know why. It kind of suck. I don't know.
all right, so
The Dolphins playoffs pick too. I think that's a good one. Like I know it's -143, but if the Dolphins win this game, the Broncos are like the 9 seed. I think. Like obviously that only creates more separation within that. So what I'm saying is, I guess if they win this game, they'll shoot up to -190 after this week. So I would just take it now, even if you missed out on the really good number, but you're going to miss out on this number by a lot after this week.
yeah, and the Dolphins win total is now. I took it at 9. Now it's 9.5. That seems a little harder to get, but again, I would still take that as well. And I also took the Dolphins to win the division +300, but that also is going to really come down to week 17 up against the Bills. So it's pretty much just like betting on the Bills game, but you just get higher odds. So what do you think about that? Do you think the Dolphins can win the division real quick?
I mean, yeah, like I think if it comes down to that Bills game, week 17, is the game at home or is it in Buffalo?
I think it is in Buffalo.
Yeah, that might be the only pushback I have, just because of the weather. Could be kind of cold there, I guess. But I mean, I don't know. I think 300 solid for a game for what should be. Like I think we'll see if the 300 now. If it actually comes down to that week 17 game, I'd imagine the line for Buffalo is -2.5. So like you're pretty much saying these teams are dead even. So the 300 shouldn't be a thing now. That's pending. They still push themselves along with the Bills. So yeah, I think the 300 solid. It was probably like 800 a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
or something insane. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool to see them kind of on a hot streak here and see if they can finish it out and make a run of the division. I think they're a lock for the playoffs. I think, but yeah, the division will be pretty cool. I think if they could snag it
for sure. So who is your lock before we can get out of here?
Yeah, my final pick, my lock, is the Bengals and the football team over 46.5. I think this is one of those totals where people just think of the football team having a good defense and just kind of like forget that they're still allowing a decent amount of points. I know the Bengals they've been kind of clicking in terms of air yards and sort of the deep attack. I just think it's too low of a point total for two pretty bad teams. I think the football team started out really slow last week and clicked towards the end. Alex Smith has probably started again, I would imagine. I haven't heard any news that he isn't. They go against the worst run defense in the league, so they're just going to keep running with Gibson, throwing to McKissick. Like it's going to be a slow get to 47 points, I think. But I think in the end, like I don't see them not getting it any other way. Just because, I mean, I know the football team gets pressure and the Bengals line sucks, but Joe Burrow's been getting pressured all year and he's still putting up points. So I like the over 46.5 in this game.
Yeah, and Alex Smith actually looked very good last week up against the Detroit Lions. He literally should have won that game. That would have been like the seal on the deal, in my opinion, for him to win comeback player of the year. Even though Big Ben should easily win it, we all know fucking Alex Smith is gonna walk up there with his fucking peg leg and take that award. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the Bengals versus the football team. I actually think the football team's defense has looked much worse than it did earlier in the season. The front seven doesn't seem to be pressuring
Yeah.
as much as of recently. I think that the Bengals offense is good. I read some crazy stat that Burrow's like 0 for 11 in throwing the ball when like there's a guy in front of his face. So not very good at doing
Yeah.
that. But with that said, I still think the Bengals will be able to do good enough. They're going to be without Joe Mixon again, I think. This video is actually going to come out today in a couple of hours. I'm just going to drop it on Thursday, see if it gets more views, see if it changes the views, see if it changes. Maybe people like it better seeing it like right after it comes out. So I don't think Mixon is going to play, but that should have zero effect on the over in this one. The football team will magically score some points because Antonio Gibson and JD McKissick get a whole lot of touches. And then Terry McLaurin is just a walking touchdown. So I think that the Bengals versus the football team, 46.5 is a very good number. I like that a lot. So do you have anything to add here before we get out of here?
No, I don't think so. We'll see if the Broncos can hang with your Dolphins, but I highly doubt it.
I hope not, for my bet's sake. So thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Hope you guys had a great time watching today. Next week, we'll be back again. Like Lucas said, there's probably going to be either a Thanksgiving video or a video that has all the Thanksgiving picks plus our other picks, or just a Thanksgiving centered video. I'm not too sure what's going to happen. We will have a sponsor next week, though. Their name, not to be said yet until it's set in stone, but we should have it for the Thanksgiving video. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys follow Lucas on Twitter for the one time every couple of months that he ends up tweeting. Have a great rest of your guys' day. I really do appreciate it. Murder your bookie. We're to murder Snacks and Animal this week. Have a great rest of your guys' day. I love you all. Goodbye.